Okay, so this is term 1, week 9 math. It's very easy. Just 4.4 optimization you need to understand, and asymptotes, really very easy. Okay, question 1, question 2, any sad questions. I'll go through them very fast. A kennel houses only dogs and cats. The ratio of the number of animals to cats is 11 to 5. This is total animals to cats. What's the ratio of total animals to dogs? Animals here 11. Cats, dogs. You know, when you add the cats and the dogs, you get the total amount of animals. So 5 plus the dogs gets me 11. So I keep the dogs is equal to 6. So you're going to get 11 to 6. Question 2. Which of the following is equivalent to this expression? Okay, here it's just adding and subtracting fractions. These are sad questions because you need them for those who are doing the SAT. You know, to add or subtract, you need to have same denominator. This one here, I'm going to factor it out. It's going to be like this. صح? Because x squared minus 4a squared minus b squared is a minus b, a plus b. Okay, now you have to see, we want to make them the same denominator. This one here is missing x plus 2. صح? So we're going to multiply by x plus 2. This one here is missing a y. So we're going to multiply here by y. Up and down now. So what you're going to get? You're going to get xa plus 2a minus by over x minus 2, x plus 2, y. X minus 2, x plus 2, we know it's just x squared minus 4, and then y. They factored out a in the answer, so they got a x plus 2 minus by over x squared minus 4, y. Question 3. هلا بلشنا asymptotes. Okay. Rational functions. F of x is equal to, I'll give you an example, مثلا 3x over x plus 2. When you graph this function, it's going to be something, if I'm not wrong, it should be like this. Something like this. You can see that the values of these functions never touch this and never touch this. When it goes from up to down, we call it a vertical line. And anytime we see that the function is not allowed to touch something, we call it an asymptote. So this one going from up to down is the vertical asymptote. This one going from left to right is the horizontal asymptote. Always horizontal asymptotes are y equals something, it's called k. And vertical asymptotes are always x equals something, because x is not allowed to touch that. Okay? So here, let's say you're required to find the horizontal asymptote. In other words, the horizontal asymptote is the value of x that is not in the domain. صح? Domain, by the way, is the set of numbers you can use. You know that your denominator cannot equal to 0. صح? So that means x cannot be equal to minus 2. So your vertical asymptote, why did I write horizontal? Vertical. So your vertical asymptote is x equals 2. So if I were to graph this هيك, at x equals 2, I would have an asymptote like this, وبتكون هيك. Okay? طيب. How about هلا horizontal asymptote? Okay. This one is it's unique the way you think about it. Basically, the way you do it is, I'm going to use this graph just so you can understand a bit. With the horizontal asymptote here, it's actually y is equal to 0. And the vertical asymptote here was x equals 0. This is just for the graph of 1 over x. Okay? is it actually set x to infinity 1 over infinity 0? Yeah, okay. Over here, what this means is that as you approach, y approaches infinity, as it goes up, 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 it's not allowed to cross x equals 0. So if you were to actually continue this graph, it would keep on going up, 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 for infinity. But does it cross x equals 0? Never. Okay, that's the meaning of an asymptote. So basically, what a vertical asymptote means. Vertical asymptote is as y approaches infinity, x approaches the vertical asymptote, right? As y keeps on increasing, x approaches 0, but it never crosses it. How about horizontal asymptote? Is a vertical is as y approaches infinity. How about horizontal? Horizontal hone. X keeps on increasing forever, 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 but does it cross this line here? Y equals 0? Never. So as x approaches infinity, y approaches the horizontal asymptote. So you'd ask me, Walid, how do I find the horizontal asymptote? Let's take this example here. 3x over x plus 2. When we say horizontal asymptote, we say as x approaches infinity, y approaches what? Okay? When you say x approaches infinity, what does that mean? I go and I plug x as infinity. Okay. This is something I should have explained a bit earlier, but whenever you're studying the behavior of any function f of x, let's say it's 3x to the power 5 plus 4x to 4 plus 3x cubed plus 2x squared plus 9x plus 12. And I want to see as x approaches infinity, what does y approach? I only take the highest degree term. This is a rule in math, okay? You only take the highest degree. So here, نفس الشيء. I have here, it doesn't matter, but if you had 3x squared plus 2x, you'd only take the highest degree term because that's what you care about. But I don't have it here, but you're going to see it in other questions. Here, I plugged x as infinity. What do I only care about? The highest terms, right? I don't care about the 2, I only care about the highest term up, highest term down. So I get 3 infinity over infinity. Cancel, cancel. So what do you get? 3. So that means as x approaches infinity, y approaches what? 3. So y equals 3 is the horizontal asymptote. Very easy. طيب, I'm going to explain now something. I'll explain it when I reach the question house. So here, 8x over x squared minus 64, they want to know the vertical asymptote and the horizontal asymptote. Vertical asymptote, so easy. Just plug your denominator to 0. Denominator equals 0. So x squared minus 64 equals 0. You get this. If you say this is your vertical asymptote, you're going to get it wrong because x is equal to plus minus root 64. Two solutions. So you get this and you get this. These are your two vertical asymptotes. طيب, how about horizontal? Let's see. When we say horizontal, you plug x is infinity. صح? So we take the highest powers only. So you're going to get 8 times infinity over infinity squared. Infinity cancels with the square. Hellage is going to be 8 divided by infinity. When you have any number divided by infinity, it equals to 0. Always. That's a rule in math. Any number n over infinity, it's equal to 0. So 8 divided by infinity equals 0. That means as x approaches infinity, what does y approach? 0. So y equals 0 is a horizontal asymptote. Okay? And I can just give you a rule, memorize it. But because you're going to need to know how to write these for your written parts, I'm telling you from now what you write. Okay? So just take this. The rule says for any polynomial p of x over q of x, let's say p of x is equal to ax to the power of n, or q of x is bx to the power of, I don't know, let's say m. Okay, this is the highest degree. Type if n equals m, the horizontal asymptote is equal to a over b, like we had over here. Power 1, power 1. Since they're equal, the horizontal asymptote is just 3 divided by 1, which is 3. If n is greater than m, horizontal asymptote does not exist. So say dne. If n is less than m, horizontal asymptote is equal to 0. These are proven rules in mathematics. You can memorize them if you want. And even if you write this in written part, it's correct, by the way. So you want to actually memorize these. They're way easier. And I prefer to solve using infinity because it helps me understand more. Whatever you want. هلا شو oblique كانت. Okay. Question 4. طيب. I'm gonna skip this. الماكسمايزيشن والoptimization. I'll come back to it at the end. Okay. طيب. Here, so they were nice with you. They gave you a curve, f of x, and they gave you the table of sign. So they gave you that y prime is negative before negative 3, positive, whatever they gave you. Y double prime, this. Okay, what can we deduce? Let's see. We know that minus 3 is a stationary point because it was negative, then it became positive. So it was decreasing, then it increased. So what's minus 3? أكيد, it's a minimum. طيب, how about 0? 0 is a saddle point. Why is it a saddle point? Because it's increasing and stayed increasing. So it's a saddle point. How about 3? It was increasing and started decreasing. So key 3 is a maximum. Is it inflection at x equals 0? No. Why? Because they didn't say 0. They said like, how can I say? They put this circle. It doesn't mean 0. It means something else. Okay? If they just kept it like heck straight, then it would be inflection point. Okay? Type. The curve has no ما خلص. Inflection point is a change in concavity. Change in, what does change in concavity mean? It means change in sign of y double prime. Did y double prime sign change? No. So it's not an inflection point. It's just a saddle point. Okay, so this is wrong. Stationary point at 0? No, we said 0 is a saddle point. The curve has saddle point at minus 3? No. We said it's a minimum. A maximum at 0? No. Okay, very, very easy. Simple. Okay. The function of the curve is given by this. What is true? Okay. Oblique asymptotes, I'm gonna explain them very, very quickly. I don't think you need to. I don't think they ask you it. I will explain it anyways. Sometimes you're gonna have, it's a rule, q of x. No, I'll take it here. Q of x over p of x has an oblique asymptote y is equal to ax plus b when the degree of q is equal to the degree of p plus 1. For those of you who don't know what degree means, it means the highest power. مثلا 3x squared plus 2 على خلينا نقول افترضنا x. The degree of this is bigger than this by 1. صح? So that means I have an oblique asymptote. What is the oblique asymptote? It's ax plus b. How do you find this? Ax plus b, where ax plus b is, where ax plus b is the quotient after dividing by p of x. Here, divide by x. How do you divide by x? You can use synthetic division. Actually, you usually put x minus 1. Okay, let's divide by x minus 1. Put a 1, use synthetic division. I like using synthetic. 3 x squared plus something plus 2. You know, when you have squared, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. Even though I don't have an x term, I have to fill in this bx, so I have to put 0. Okay, 2, we took this last year. Synthetic 3 goes down, multiply, you get 3, so put 3. 0 plus 3, 3. 3 times 1, 3. Okay, it was quadratic. Now this is 5. It was quadratic. So now it's going to become linear. It's going to become something x plus something, right? So it was power 2 and it becomes 1. So 3x plus 3, this is remainder 5. We don't care about the remainder. So that means your oblique asymptote is 3x plus 3. You only have this when the degree of the term up is larger than the one down by 1. Okay? So here كل الأوبليك asymptotes wrong. طيب هن بدون horizontal asymptote. How do you find horizontal asymptote? You study as, you know what, actually I'll use the rules for you. You have n here, you have m. If n is less than m, then the horizontal asymptote is y equal to 0. In this case it's less 1, 2, يعني دغري بسرعة you should know y equals 0 is your horizontal asymptote. Question 7. Consider the function this. Which of the following is true about the graph? Okay, it decreases without bounds as x approaches. So here, basically they're trying to tell you, study the sign of y as x approaches positive infinity, as x approaches negative infinity. What do you always take? You take the highest power. If you take squared, you're gonna get it wrong. You need to take cube. صح? Okay. عندك minus 3x cubed. As x approaches positive infinity. What does that mean? Plug it as positive infinity. What do you get? You get minus 3 times infinity cube. As the infinity cube is just infinity. So you get negative infinity. صح? So as x approaches positive infinity, what happens? Y approaches negative infinity. So it's going to be decreasing. When we say without bounds, I mean infinite. How about x approaches negative infinity? Let's plug now negative infinity. So negative 3 x cubed, so negative infinity cube. This is going to become negative infinity. Minus minus becomes positive. So it becomes positive infinity. So as it approaches negative infinity, what happens? Y approaches positive infinity. What does this mean? It means it increases. Question 8. The curve was equal, okay, inflection point. Inflection point, y prime prime is equal to 0. Derive twice, you get 12x squared. And then derive the second time, you get 24x. Equate it to 0, you get x equals 0. Question 9. Okay, هيدي كمان I'll come back to it. Optimization خلاص ماش في شي. Okay, inflection point, we'll do this again fast. Inflection point يعني y prime prime equals 0. You get 3x squared. This is y prime, the first derivative. Minus 10x minus 6. Second derivative. Equated to 0, you get x is equal to 10 over 6, which is 5 over 3. Question 12, I think it's a sketch. Yes, okay. This one, in the AMS, they won't ask you to find the table of sign yourself, because I'm telling you, with the amount of time given in AMS, it's very hard. So what they do is they give you a table of sign. And in time, you basically have to find out everything here. Minus 3, it was decreasing, then started increasing. So that means at minus 3, it's a local min. So let's go to minus 3. Can it be this one? No, because at minus 3, it's a maximum. So this is wrong. How about this one here? -3. It's a minimum. Okay, it could be this one. Let's check what I still have. -1 is a saddle point. 0 is a local maximum because it was increasing and decreased. So 0 is a local max. Let's see here. At 0, is it increasing and start decreasing? No. So this one is wrong. Type. Let's see this one. We said -3 is a local min. So go to -3. Local minimum. Correct. 0. Is it a local max? Yes. Because it was increasing, then started decreasing. Okay, let's check some other things. 3 is a local minimum كمان because it was decreasing and increased. So we go to 3. Is it minimum? Yes. Okay. Now let's look at the second derivative. Second derivative tells us what? Tells us concavity. So it's concave upwards before -1. So before -1, it's concave upwards. Concave upwards looks like this because this is a parabola, positive parabola. Does it look like this? Yes, it does. Concave downwards for -1 and between -1 and 1 because concave down means negative second derivative. Let's see, between -1 and 1. Concave downwards looks like this because it's an upside down parabola, negative parabola. Let's see, between -1 and 1 and between here and here, it looks exactly like it. And then concave up between 1 and positive infinity. After 1, does it look like this? Yes, it does. So it satisfies all conditions, so this is correct. I'll quickly say why this is wrong. أكيد because -3 here is supposed to be a minimum, but it's a maximum here, so this is wrong. طيب هلا الoptimization. أول شيء I'll start with this one, it's a bit easier. Okay. A cylinder of height h and radius r is fitted in a sphere of radius 5, so the bases are circles of the sphere. What is the volume of the cylinder in terms of h? To draw this for you, this is your sphere, and you have your cylinder here. عندك الراديوس r عندك الهايت. السفير الراديوس تبعها 5. So كمان going up it's also 5. Isn't h equal to 2 times the radius of the sphere? So it's 2 times 5. So it's 2 times 10. بس I might be خبصين. Wait, hold up. No, wait, ignore what I just said. No, because my drawing is kind of weird. Let me draw it a bit better. هيك. Okay. You see how there's some space left on the side, so I can't use what I just did. So, again, radius of the sphere is 5. And then the height is h, radius r. So, they want the volume of the cylinder in terms of h. This one, honestly, took me a few minutes to think about. But once you get it, you really get it. This sphere, it's a radius, right? You can't take it down completely because you have the space here. But I can take it to the corner here. So this is 5. كمان I can take the height down here. صح? So I can get a triangle whose hypotenuse is 5. It's right because the height is always perpendicular. 5. What's the length of this leg? It's h over 2. Why h over 2? Because you're cutting the cylinder in half, right? And you have r. Down. Do Pythagorean theorem. What do you get? 5 squared is equal to r squared plus h over 2 squared. You get 25 equal to r squared plus h squared over 4. You want the volume of the cylinder in terms of h. What is the volume of a cylinder? Pi r squared h. They want it in terms of h. So they want to change r into something with h. Do I know what r squared is? I actually found it here. R squared, if you just take this to the other side, it's equal to 25 minus h squared over 4. So you can go here and replace it with 25 minus h squared over 4 times h. And if you distribute this all, let's keep pi in the end. We'll just put pi in the end. 25 times h is 25h. And we said pi minus h times h is h cube. H squared times h is h cube over 4. And we always add pi. And they want the restriction of the height. Yeah, I should teach you how to do the restriction because you need it. Even there's no other correct answer, but to find the restriction, we said, yeah, for the restriction, you always know that your side has to be greater than or equal to 0, the radius, right? طيب, what is my radius? I know what radius squared is, but since it's with 0, it doesn't really matter. So you can just substitute like this. And if you solve this inequality, multiply by 4 on both sides, multiply by 4 here, multiply by 4 here, you're going to get 100 minus h squared greater than or equal to 0. Solve this, take 100 to the other side, you get minus h squared greater than or equal to minus 100, divide by minus on both sides. So you're going to get two solutions. You're going to get less than or equal to 10 and greater than or equal to minus 10. But, you know, by default, it should be greater than or equal to 0. So you can't, this is rejected. You can't say minus 10. So what's it going to be between 10 and 0? So h, like this. Okay? Very, very simple. هلا okay. This one came in the exam. It's going to come in your exam as 18 by 18. Okay? But I'll explain. A square of side x is removed from each corner of a square measures 30 by 30. Square. 30, 30, 30, 30. Square of side x is removed. X, 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 x. The sides are then folded. You get a height x, box with height x. What is the value of the maximum? طيب. What is the volume of the box? When you fold this, it's going to look like this. You're going to have a base. You're going to have a square base, rectangular. I think it should be like this better. Have a square base. And rectangular sides. We know that when you fold it, the height is how much? X. Type. What's the base going to be? And I cut out x and x. So it was 30. I cut out minus x, so minus 2x. So this is the side. How would this side? كمان نفس الشيء. 30 minus 2x. How do you find volume? Isn't it length times width times height? So isn't it x times 30 minus 2x times 30 minus 2x? Solve this, you get 30x minus 2x squared. 30 minus 2x. You're going to get 900 x minus 60 x squared minus 60 x squared plus 4 x cubed. So you're going to get, let's simplify. You're going to get this. We want to know the maximum. The maximum value you have to substitute. A function can reach its maximum at its stationary points. So let's find our stationary points. How do you do that? You derive v prime and equate it to 0. What's v prime? 12x squared minus 240x plus 900. Now, in your exam, most of you don't have calculators that can solve quadratics, so use the quadratic formula. أول شيء find your delta, find this. What is b? B squared minus 4ac equal to? Let's put it in our calculator. It's 240 squared minus 4 times 900 times 12. You get this. And radical of this is how much? 120. So instead of radical b squared minus 4ac, I'm going to put 120. Okay, substitute minus b minus 240 plus minus 120 over 2 times 12, 24. You're going to get 240 minus 120 over 24. You get 5. This first solution is at 5. I'll put it plus. You get 15. So you get the first solution is x equal 5. Second solution is x equal 15. Then you're going to come and tell me, طب وليد, what do I do now? Okay. هلا, what do? You want to see which one's maximum, which one's minimum. So you're going to substitute both of these values into your volume and see which one gets you a higher value of volume. So at x equals 5, what does v equal? ولا أبسط من هيك. Go to your thing, substitute 5. 4, 5 cubed minus 120. 5 squared plus 900 times 5. 2000. 15. Let's put 15 now. 0. So which one do you think is maximum? This one. And what does x equal? 5. I think now last question. Okay. The surface area of a cylinder with base R is going to be 2 pi. Okay, they gave you the formula and they gave you its volume. So they give you the formulas. So nice. If the volume is this, then the surface area is equal to this. What is the value of B? You can see that our surface area had H, but now there's no more H. So that means they substituted H with something. They gave me how much the volume is, and they gave me the equation for the volume. I can easily find H. Pi r squared H, the volume, is equal to how much? 3456. So can't I find H? It's 3456 over pi r squared. So I go back here and substitute 2 times pi times r times the H plus 2 pi r squared. And I can pi with pi, r with r, 2 times 3456, 6912 over r plus 2 pi r squared. So what is B 6912? Then they said, find the minimum surface area. We know that surface area from part A, 6912 over r plus 2 pi r squared. How do we find minimum? It's going to be at the stationary point. So let's derive it. This is going to be, let's simplify it. You have to take the r up. So what's it going to be? Minus 6912 over r squared, if you derive this. And here you can get 4 pi r. Equate it to 0. What are you going to get? This is actually a nice equation to solve. 1 second. And I just realized before I continue, there was a pi here. So this one here has pi. So I cancel this pi with this pi. So this pi doesn't get cancelled. I can't cancel, it stays there. So I'm gonna have pi here. Okay? Because this is, you need this for the second step I'm gonna do now. Okay, to solve this, the way I did it is I multiplied by r squared on both sides. So I want to get rid of the denominator. What does it become? Becomes this. Now what do you get? You can factor out pi, and you can take out minus 4. What do you get? 9, 2 divided by 4, 1728 minus r cubed is equal to 0. So this is going to be equal to 0. So what's r? Just the cube root of 1728. 12. So you only get one solution, r equals 12. So you don't have to check whether it's minimum or maximum. Directly, r equals 12. هيك بنكون خلصنا. Thank you so much for watching and good luck.